So I have this termite apart, and I thought we'd take a look at some of the internal milling that's present on it. So I already have the valve body out right here, and we can see it says Lapco on the valve body because it's likely that Termite had Colin Thompson make the valve bodies for these guns. Here we can see the sight rail. This is also a Lapco item. These were featured on some of the earlier Ghosts, and we can see the internal milling inside of that sight rail. Looking a little bit more at the Termite, we can see the flat top on the pump arm right here. I can slide the pump arm bolts out, and I can just slide the pump off, and we can see our internal spring inside of there. And we can also see the stepped down barrel right here. Now I'm going to remove the collar, and along with the collar, the body also comes off. So we'll just slide the collar off of there, and now our body is completely separated from our frame. Looking at the bottom of the body, we can see that we don't have a front grip frame hole. So there's no grip frame hole present here because our collar is actually holding our body onto our receiver, our grip frame. Looking at the base of the receiver, we can see our internal milling in there. We have 2 slots here. We also have a little bit more cut out right there, and additional holes here, which I'm not sure the function of those. We can also see the fancy Timstone grips. This Termite has a left feed block, but it has right feed grips. So right now I have my right hand on it, and we can see those Timstone grips are pretty nice. Base of the grip frame has N1002 on it, which I believe means it was a second NW frame made. Let me just take that pump spring out. Many of the parts also have a 3 stamped on the base of them. We can see the 3 right there stamped on the base of the pump arm. We can also see the milling on the side of the pump arm, pretty fancy. 2 on one, 4 on the other. We can also look down the top, and we can see the flat top of it and the ridges that are on the rest of it. So we have Delrin spacers at the front right here and at the back right here. Looking at our internals, which I had thought were Howdy internals, but I'm not positive of that. You can see we have a heavily fluted hammer, and we also have an adjustable anti-kink bolt. The bolt is only milled for a sear slot on the bottom, and the anti-kink adjuster is inside. There's no ring on the anti-kink adjuster. Looking at our feed block, we can see we have the number 3 also stamped on this. You can also see it's a left feed block, and it has indented ridges inside of the block. Very cool. And now let's put it back together. I'm going to first take my internals. I'm going to slide them inside of my body, just like that. Next, I'm going to set my body on my receiver, and I'm going to slide my block onto my receiver, just like that. I tighten my block down a little bit. Next, I'm going to slide my pump spring into my pump. And we have to make sure that the larger outer diameter portion of the pump spring goes in first. Slide my barrel into my pump spring, and then my pump on past my feed block. Line my holes in my bolt up with the pump arm. Put my brass screws on either side. Then I'm going to assemble my valve assembly. I'm going to put my valve retaining screw onto my power tube. I'm going to put my cup seal onto my power tube assembly. Put my valve spring on the end of my cup seal. I'm going to screw my valve assembly into my valve. Then I'm going to place my valve in the back of my Termite with my sight rail going in. Tighten my sight rail down onto the body. Definitely want to strip some threads. Now I have my Termite assembled. Take it out to the field, play a little bit with it. Looking down the top of my Termite, we can see my sight rail, and then we can see my milled flat pump handle. Pretty awesome. We can see the milled sides of the grip frame rail And the nicely milled pump handle. Pretty fancy. Also see those holes in the base of the grip frame. Not sure what those are for. These holes are right here.